Overreaction Monday. Hit it, please.
That was terrible.
That was crap. That was garbage. This place sucks.
Overreaction Mondays.
What do you have over there?
Okay,
Chris?
first up, the Los Angeles Chargers will be the 2 seed in the AFC.
That's an overreaction. By the way, the only way that they're the 2 seed in the AFC is if Kansas City doesn't make it as the top 2. So you can't have your 2 seed be. So the Chiefs are going to be one of the top 2. So that's a complete overreaction. Now, if you're going to say that they'll have the second best record in the AFC, that's not an overreaction. The Chargers are moving forward. They've got Melvin Gordon coming back. I need to know if Tyreek Hill and Spencer Ware are going to be 100%. They won't be 100% for that game Thursday. They both left the game and were limping around in that win over the Ravens. So let's move on. They have a possibility of having the second best record in the AFC, but they will not be one of the top 2 seeds.
Beat the Chiefs on Thursday. Chiefs lose at Seattle.
If they're the 2 seed, that means, again, Kansas City is not one of the top seeds, and I think that they will be.
All right, let's go to Thursday night then. The winner of Thursday night football this week, Chargers at Chiefs, will represent the AFC in the Super Bowl.
That's not an overreaction. The Texans won 9 in a row, and then there's times where Deshaun Watson just does not look right. They can't protect him. You get in his face, and he holds onto the ball way too long. The running game disappears. So when you take a look at the Patriots not having the bye week, I will say that's not overreaction. Winner of Thursday night football takes it to Atlanta.
Wow.
I think so.
I like that.
I think it's not an overreaction, although I said in my first one I think that the Chargers will not be the 2 seed. What else, sir?
Amari Cooper was worth exactly what the Cowboys gave up to get him.
I said it I just said it a moment ago, didn't I? I thought the giving up a first-round selection for a guy that had been totally missing in action on a football field was an overpayment. What were the Cowboys doing? What would they possibly be thinking? Look, Leighton Vander Esch is the personification of their first-round selection. You're passing on another version of him. Amari Cooper's that guy, and he's going to have the star on the side of his helmet. He's 24. He's going to be there for a long time. You want to be Dak-friendly? That's more Dak-friendly than Dez. 30-year-old guy that's been barking for the football. Instead, you turn him in for a 24-year-old who's got nothing but upside.
He has 40 catches.
Worth it.
642 yards and 6 touchdowns in 6 games.
I raise my hand and say, mea culpa. Worth every penny. Not an overreaction.
9-7, record of 9-7. Won't be good enough to make the playoffs this year in either conference.
That's an overreaction. I just said to you the 6-1 Vikings, which they should be, are in it. I think that's an overreaction. 9-7 may not be worth it. Good enough in the AFC. I think one of these 7-6 teams can go on a run in the last 3 wins and the last 3 games, win out, and take it at 10-6. And just quickly do that while we're on the subject. The Ravens' last 3 games, home for Tampa, at the Chargers. What a big game that is on a Saturday. That's a Saturday game, Week 16. Then home for Baker Mayfield in Cleveland. The Colts' last 3 games, they've got the Cowboys this weekend. Then they've got the Giants the following weekend at Tennessee. You've got the Dolphins' last 3 games. Let's see what Miami's last 3 games. Miami's at Minnesota, home for Jacksonville, at Buffalo. Who's the more likely runner to go and finish the season? I think it's Baltimore.
Yeah, that would put them
at 10-6 and in. Right now, by the way, they lead the. I don't even want to go into the tiebreak at 7-6. Why there's like 3-4 different tiebreaks that why they're.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
Seed.
We'll do that as a poll later this week.
Okay.
There's 4, 7, and 6 teams in the
Sure.
AFC. Let's go follow up with that. The Pittsburgh Steelers will miss the playoffs.
Wow. They're home for the Patriots, Saints, Bengals to finish up.
7-5-1 right now.
So they lose the next 2, 7-7-1. That's not an overreaction right now, man. Is James Conner going to be back for the Patriots game? He's got to. I was telling everybody, Le'Veon Bell, Steeler fans, you want him signed. You want him coming in for the last 5-6 weeks. You want it. You need it. Ben's not finding Antonio Brown. Are they going to fix that at home against New England before they go to New Orleans? By the way, New Orleans is at Carolina this week, which means that New Orleans will have been on the road at Dallas, at Tampa, at Carolina. They're going to love being back home. They're going to feel nice and comfy in that dome when you walk in that building week 16.
Almost unbeatable at home.
I'll say that's not an overreaction right now.
All right, you mentioned the New York Giants having a backwoods playoff scenario.
By the way, that does include, that would mean Seattle beats Minnesota tonight.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants were right for not drafting a quarterback and taking Saquon Barkley.
I still think so. I can't hear this anymore, man. I can't hear this anymore. That was my take when the night they took him. That was my take when they were 1-5. That was my take as they are right now. Okay? And the whole concept of, well, they took Saquon Barkley and all that gave them was a record of 5-8. So how'd they really improve themselves? Right now, the Giants, who drafted second last year, are drafting 9. So if they had taken Sam Darnold, you know where they would be right now? Maybe where the Jets are, drafting 5th overall at 4-9. Okay, so the Jets took their quarterback, and they basically stayed the same in terms of record. And I'm thrilled that the Jets have Sam Darnold moving forward. And the Giants may not have Justin Herbert in their pocket sitting there at 9, or they could be drafting worse. And then what do they do at quarterback? Saquon Barkley is a generational godsend. Running backs don't make the difference. Okay. I don't believe it.
I was saying this before the show. Do you think he'll be the number 1 fantasy player next year?
No question about it. Or wherever Le'Veon Bell will be.
The number 1 overall pick
I know
heading into
Gurley
drafts.
will be in that mix, but Saquon will be above Alvin Kamara.
I think so. I think you're right.
Oh, how do you not take him? He's unbelievable. And I know we were going back and forth. Who's the offensive rookie of the year? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, he ran for 170 yards against Washington and then almost ran for caught as much. He's unbelievable.
He's so good.
And the Giants will need him, and they will use him. And at some point, they'll get the quarterback situation from Eli to the next guy. They'll figure it out. What else?
Greg Williams will be the Browns head coach in 2019.
Grandma Gloria Glassman just gave him the okay. I don't know how you mess with this right now. You playing a hot hand? That's not an overreaction right now. The only question is, will they have him interview? Will he, or just get a letter? Just get a sign. Just sign it. He has earned the right to keep the gig.
They look great.
I said my 4th down.
I know that. I thought that was crazy
6 weeks ago. That Greg Williams is so nutty and crazy that he's going to win as many games as he's lost as coach. All he's got to do is win one more, and I'm right. He's 3-2 as the coach right now. And they're at Denver, which did not look the same in San Francisco last week. And Baker can go in to Denver and win that game too. You got one more before we get to Chris
last
Mannix?
one. The Los Angeles Rams will lose in the playoffs if they have to go on the road.
That's an overreaction. Their last 3 potential road games. Period. Right now. Last 3 potential road games. At Arizona, week 16.
Dome.
At New Orleans for an NFC championship game.
Dome.
In Atlanta for the Super Bowl.
Dome.
Okay. They can put away the balaclavas and winter hats. Those don't be needed anymore. So that's an overreaction.
The what?
Balaclavas, everybody. Those are those.
Yeah.
You know, you put those on your head. And,
Oh, God, they cover the ears.
Yeah. Yeah.
They looked cold last night.
Yes, they did.
Oh, my God.
And guess what? They don't have to deal with that anymore. They're home week 15 and 17. They're at Arizona week 16. The only team that's going to have a better record than potentially are the Saints. That's a dome.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.